everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. If it's your first time here, my name is Francesca. Hello. And what can I say about me? Maybe that I love building houses in The Sims, and hence why here on my channel I post Sims 4 speed build videos. So, welcome to a new speed build video. In today's video, I am building a big ranch or equestrian center. I don't really know what to class this lot as because I feel like it's something in between a ranch and also it's maybe an equestrian center. So I'm gonna class this lot as both because I don't really even know what the difference is. I guess maybe the ranch is run by a family and the equestrian center is more like, I don't know, more, I don't even know, professional as a place, and maybe the ranch is like less professional. I don't even know. Like, if you know the difference, please let me know. I didn't Google that actually because I'm not really familiar with the concept of ranches. I don't have ranches here where I live. I know equestrian centers because I used to go horse riding, so I'm very familiar with that concept, but I'm not really familiar with the concept of ranch because yeah, I never been to a ranch before. So yeah, but I would love to. Anyway, in today's video, as I said, I am building a horse ranch, equestrian center, whatever. And we're building in the world of Chestnut Ridge, which is the world that comes with the latest expansion pack horse ranch, of course. And I'm saying the latest actually, but it's not going to be the newest for much longer because The Sims have announced the release of a new expansion pack, which is gonna come out on the 7th of December, I think, and it's called The Sims 4 for Ranch. No, today I can't speak. I just woke up and I don't know, I feel like my brain is still not functioning properly and I can't speak. I should have done like, you know, like those exercises for the voice and the tongue, like the exercises that singers do when they have to sing, but they have to warm up their voice. I think I should have done that because I think I can't speak this morning. Anyway, the new expansion pack, The Sims 4 for Rent, not for Ranch. It's just so hard to pronounce, I'm so sorry. And the name is really weird. Anyway, it seems really cool because gameplay wise, you can basically become a landlord and your Sims can own different properties, I think, and they can rent them out as well. And you can choose if you want your Sim to live in one of the apartment units or you can choose to live somewhere else. And yeah, it's really nice. Like, I feel like gameplay wise, it's gonna be really fun and there's gonna be a lot of gameplay. But what intrigued me the most is the new lot type that this pack introduces, because basically we're going to get residential rental lots which give you the chance to have multiple families living in the same buildings at the same time. And most importantly, finally, you can build apartments or duplex or townhouses or a basement and you can rent them out. And this feature of building apartments from scratch is a feature which so many in the community have been asking for a really long time. And yeah, I can't think of how many videos I've watched of people building fake apartments, fake townhouses. So now with this new expansion pack, basically are going to be able to make them fully functional and fully customizable. We have apartments already in The Sims because with the City Living expansion pack, we have the opportunity to live in apartments, but it's a totally different concept because they're not, those apartments that come with City Living are not fully customizable. For example, you can't bulldoze the entire thing and you can't even change the windows or the doors unless you have a mod. So they're customizable to a certain extent. And also this new pack has a lot more gameplay added to it, which is related to the concept of renting. Because as I said, your Sims can, build the entire career around being a landlord. There's going to be aspirations regarding that, and also there's going to be, I think, from what I've seen, an aspiration for the tenants. Also, there are so many like new features for tenants which are going to make the gameplay more realistic. And from what I've seen, basically there's going to be like a lot of drama also around the families that live in those units, and they can maybe have the opportunity to discover each other's secrets, and they can snooping or breaking and entering into someone else's apartments. Another beautiful thing of this pack, in my opinion, is the new world. I don't know if you had the chance to watch the trailer, but from what I've seen, the new world that comes with the new pack is Southeast Asian inspired, and the town is called Tomarang. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments below if I did it, but yeah, it looks like this world is really alive. And I read there's going to be like a new market, and there's also going to be new foods, and it seems that they added some new recipes which I'm assuming are going to be some traditional Southeastern Asian dishes. Also, I've seen from the trailer that we're going to get a couple of new small kitchen appliances, which one I think is going to be a kettle, and the other one could be a rice cooker, which makes sense considering that the world is Southeast Asian inspired. Also, I've seen that we're going to get rooftop pools, which is so cool. I can't wait to put my hands on this pack to build something with that, because yeah, I mean, it's honestly, this year is gonna be it's being our lucky year, because we got generations, we got horses, we got apartments, which is everything that we've been asking for a really long time. And yeah, I just really love that the Sims listen to our requests. Anyway, moving on from that, let's talk about the building itself. Let me say that I've been wanting to build something like this for the longest time, probably since I started playing with The Sims 3 horses. But at the time, I wasn't really into building. Actually, I was terrible at building, but I was also little, so it makes sense. Anyway, finally, my dream comes true, and I could build my dream horse ranch. And let me tell you that I started working on this build around August, and it's now November. I don't know why it took me so long. Actually, I think I know why. But the thing with long projects for me is that I struggle so much to work on the same thing for a long period of time. I get bored, I get just distracted, and I want to start a fresh new project. And the same thing happens with Sims houses. Also, with this one, I felt like there were a lot of things to do, because this is a 64 by 64 plot. So it's definitely really big, and there are a lot of things going on, and I felt a little bit overwhelmed that I stopped working on it for a while. But then I was like, I don't want to give up on this build. I want to actually finish it and share this build with you. Also because it's something different from my usual houses. Normally I tend to post family homes and or maybe apartments, and this is a community lot, by the way. I didn't mention that, but it's a community lot and is classed as a park. Yeah, so normally I don't tend to build community lots, and this is, I think, my second one here on my channel. And I really wanted to finish this project because I wanted to share something different and differentiate a little bit between my builds. Also, another thing is that I kept changing my mind so many times, and Because of that, this build went through so many bulldozers before getting to the point where it is now. Obviously, I didn't record all the different attempts because otherwise this video would have been, I think, a day long. It's already a really long video. It's over 50-minute long, so I hope you grab maybe a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and a snack. But I'm happy that I took my time with this build and I didn't rush it, because I otherwise would have ended up posting something which I wasn't 100% satisfied about. Also, I struggled so much with the color scheme. I started with this idea in my head that I wanted the exterior to be all white and I wanted red barn doors, just because The Sims 4 Horse Ranch comes with so many different swatches and one of them is red. And I wanted to use a swatch that I don't normally use, and that's why I had this idea in my head. But then I changed my mind because I kept looking at the build critically and I was like, there's something off with this build. I couldn't figure out what it was, but then after a while I figured it out, and it was the style. The style that I was going for didn't match the vibes of the world. If you're familiar with Chestnut Ridge, you know that is Western inspired, so it's really rustic looking, and that's why the previous building wasn't matching the environment. Now, you have no idea what the previous building looked like, but I have some screenshots of it that I can maybe pop on the screen right now so you can actually have an idea of what I'm talking about. And yeah, I knew that I had to go for something more rustic. And the thing is with such a big project is that when you're halfway through it and you decide you have to scrap everything to redo the entire thing again, it can get quite daunting and it's really frustrating. So you just want to give up, and that's what I did for a little while. And in the meantime, I focused on other builds. I built other things using also the new packs that in the meantime came out. But then one day I started looking at some pictures of some ranches and I felt inspired again. I knew that I had to build a ranch, and like a kind of a mix of a ranch and an equestrian center, but at least I knew that it shouldn't have been a fancy equestrian center as I wanted to before. And yeah, I saw that so many places had beams and trims and walls in like a dark wood shade. So I decided to try that style for my build, which is more like a ranch style. Now, I don't know the difference between ranch and like equestrian center. I'm assuming that maybe the equestrian center is like a more professional place and the ranch is like probably family run, it's like run by a family, it's like a more private place. I don't know, this is my idea, but I'm not sure about it. So yeah, I basically kept pretty much the same layout that I thought before, because I don't know if you could see from the picture that the screenshot that I showed you, the layout is kind of the same. Obviously I changed some things, but yeah, the layout of the place is kind of the same. But yeah, as I said, I had to look at so many pictures on Pinterest, despite the fact that I've been practicing horse riding for over 10 years now. But yeah, I still had to look on Pinterest for inspo pics. And the reason being that the style I wanted to go for this place is definitely not the one that I'm used to. I've never been to a ranch because it's not a style that we have here in Italy where I live. My horse riding place is definitely not this Western looking, it's really simple. But yeah, I wanted to go for a rustic style that was, you know, blending well with the surroundings and with the environment. Also, the landscaping, I kind of did it in a way that was mimicking the landscaping that we have in the world in Chestnut Ridge. So I tried to use a lot of the bushes and flowers from the horse ranch to blend in with the environment. And also, now that we're talking about the layout of the place, let me tell you that basically in the beginning I decided to have two riding rings. I'm not sure if they're called like that. I'm not really familiar with the vocabulary of specific horse stuff, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're called horse rings where you train with a horse. And yeah, in the beginning I had two. One was indoor and the other one was outdoor. And the outdoor one was with the obstacles, but then I changed my mind and I decided to just have one horse ring, which I haven't done yet. I just basically placed down like the fences where the horse ring is going to be. But yeah, I decided to just have one outside, and the one inside turned out to be the stables, the actual stables. Yeah, I decided to just have one for barrels and not have one dedicated for jumping, because they're two different disciplines. If you're not, well, even if you're not familiar with horse riding, you probably know that they are two different disciplines. And so with the horse ranch expansion pack, we have barrels and we have obstacles. But I didn't want to have the obstacles and the barrels in the same ring, because as I said, they're two different disciplines and it doesn't make any sense to have them in the same ring. Also, in real life, you would never have that, because one is really dangerous. Two, they're two different disciplines and they require two different saddles and they're two different riding ways. So one is American and the other one is English. So normally if you go to an equestrian center, you would have just one discipline, and normally if one teacher teaches like the English one, it doesn't teach the American one and vice versa. Yeah, I wanted to just have this place dedicated to barrel. Like, I don't know what the discipline is called, barreling. I'm not familiar with the American one because I was doing the English writing. I'm not familiar with American terminology, but yeah. So in this case, we have the barrels in the horse ring because I feel like it was more appropriate for the style of the building. And as I said, they have two different saddles. And yeah, so going back to the layout of this place, basically we have one big build in the center of the lot, which is where the stables are. Also, there's a little, like, not bamboo, but like a little patio on one side. And that's where I'm gonna place down like a dining table with some chairs and a grill. Now, the grill is really important because this lot, as I said, is classed as a park. I don't know if I said that actually, I got lost, but in case I didn't say it, this lot is going to be classed as a park. And if you want to class this lot as a park, you need a grill, some chairs, and a chess table and a monkey bar. So I had to include all these things into this lot to class it as a park. But honestly, I didn't know what else to class this lot as because we don't have the lot type equestrian center or ranch. You could build like a ranch and make it residential, but not the community lot. Yeah, I thought that the park had the easiest requirements because I could easily fit into this lot the chess table, the grill, a kid playground equipment, some seats. So I decided to class this lot as a park. Anyway, moving on from that, as you could see before, I was working on the front of the lot. And in the front, we have two paddocks for the horse to maybe like relax a little bit, play with the bowl that I placed down, and also in the paddocks I placed down the thingy for the hay and the thingy for the water, because even if the horse is just there to relax, obviously it needs to drink and to eat because, you know, it's really important. As you could see in the front, we have like this grand entrance with the big archway from the horse ranch expansion pack, which I really wanted to use because I thought it was perfect for a ranch. And also on each side of the archway, there is this thingy made of grass. I don't know what you call that, but it's from the base game and it's like rounded. And every time I wanted to have like a little rounded area, I use that because in The Sims it's really hard to do rounded things. So that really helped me to create a little bit of this rounded shape. And on that thingy, I placed down some plants, some bushes, and on one side we have this statue made of three horses, which was really cute. I really wanted to use that here. And on the other side there is this sign, and I decided to go for the swatch which has got the horse and the barrels, and I imagined that maybe the sign is saying maybe the name of the ranch and is saying something like, I don't know, come here if you want to train with barrels or something like that. And I thought, yeah, it was perfect because, as I mentioned before, here you can only train with barrels. And then once you go through the big archway, on the right hand side there is the parking space. Under the parking thingy, I placed down some debug cars. They're not functional. It's just pretending your sim can't drive them, but I thought it was realistic to have a parking space. And next to it, I placed down the horse trailer and some tires. And next to the parking space, there is the horse ring that I haven't done that yet. I'm gonna do it in a little bit. And on one side of the horse ring, there is the kind of, I don't know what to call that, but is a patio where your Sims can watch the other Sims trading. I really wanted to have something like that because it's realistic for a place to have a sitting space where you can watch the other people training, or in case there's a competition, you can watch the competition from there. So I decided to build something like that using like columns and platforms. In the beginning, they were supposed to be looking more like bleachers, but I didn't really like the look of it, so I kind of change it and adjust it a little bit. But I'm really proud with the way it looks. I think it looks really good, and you go up the staircase and you just kind of take your seat and watch the other Sims training, and maybe also the teacher can sit there. Imagine if it rains. If it rains, maybe the teacher doesn't want to like get wet, so goes under that little patio and sits down there. And then on the same side, there's going to be a kid playground because, as I mentioned, there's need to be a kid playground equipment for this place to be functional or to be classed as a park. So I decided to have that behind this horse ring. I think you can kind of see where the kid playground is going to be. It's going to be like in the back of the lot, basically behind the seating area. And right now I'm working on the pathway that I made using stones from the base game. I really like using those stones from the base game to create pathways. Also, I'm going to place down those stones all around the front of the lot where there is the terrain paint that I did in the front, and where there is like the flag in the center and that grass thingy that I mentioned before. So all around there, because it's like a circle, right? And all around the circle, I'm going to place down the stones to just kind of give a little bit more dimension, because I didn't really like how the front was looking. I thought it was looking a little bit too empty. And as you can see, I'm now working on the horse ring. And I want to explain what I did with the terrain paint, because I think you saw me doing a lot of terrain painting. But yeah, obviously since it's a really big lot, I used a lot of different terrain colors to create like different areas. And as you could see in the beginning, I was also using like the terrain paint to decide where the bushes and the plants and kind of the landscaping was going to be. And I was using another terrain paint to create different pathways and areas. I'm also using the terrain paint for the horse ring because I was also thinking that, okay, so I'm trying to explain this idea that I had in my head. Basically, when you have a horse ring, you need to use the tractor to kind of make the terrain a little bit smooth, because whenever there's someone and uses the horse ring, the terrain kind of gets too hard. Or sometimes, like if it doesn't rain for too long, the terrain is too hard and it's really hard to then use the ring, you know? So you use the tractor to kind of move the terrain a little bit. There's like this special tool which is attached to the tractor and moves the terrain paint, sorry, just the terrain. And I was thinking that using different colors, I could maybe try to create the trails that the tractor left. So as you can see, there are like different lines. Then I didn't want them to look too different from each other. I wanted to kind of them being blended in together. So then I used the dark terrain paint, the one that I normally use for like bushes and under bushes and trees, to blend everything together a little bit more. But yeah, so if you see lines on the horse ring, it's because I was trying to create the trails that the tractor left. Because you know what, I went to this horse fair around a week ago, and I was watching the barrel competition. Funny enough, yeah, there was a barrel competition, and I was watching the horse like competing, running around the barrels really fast. And every single time, probably after around 2 or 3 competitors, there would be like 2 tractors coming inside the ring and kind of adjusting the terrain and the ring to with this tool that I don't know what it's called, but they would do that to make the terrain smooth. And I don't know, I think it's like a ice skating ring. You know how with the ice skating ring you need to level out or smooth the ring every now and then, like very often, probably for competitions. So it's the same in horse riding, and so I was trying to do that in The Sims as well. I don't know if my attempt looks good or not, but I hope it does. I tried my best. Also because I wanted to kind of give a little bit more dimension to the terrain and to the place, so it would look better also in the screenshots. But anyway, as you could see before, I was working on the covered seating area where the horse ring is, and there I placed down a lot of stuff from the laundry stuff pack. I used the couch and the chairs from that pack because they look so cozy and rustic to me, as well as the rugs. I also used some hay from Cottage Living, which is actually a chair, so your Sims can sit on it. Maybe they can sit on them and watch the competitions in case, you know, the place gets too crowded because there are too many people. They can sit on the hay. But moving on, as you can see, I now moved to the other side of the lot. I decorated a little bit that area. I placed down some sacks, which I imagined to be maybe sacks of horse food. I don't really know what they are, but they serve different purposes depending on the building where you place them down. And I also placed down some buckets, which I think are from the Cottage Living debug or live edit menu. I can't remember. There's also a base game version of those buckets, and I also placed down more hay. As you could see over here, there's kind of another horse ring. Don't know what to call it. I'm not very familiar with the names of horse facilities in English, but basically that horse ring isn't really for riding, but you'll find it normally very often in horse centers, and that is where you leave the horse free to release all the energies, to maybe like unwind also a little bit. It depends. It serves different purposes. Sometimes the horse can be left free, as I said, or can be kept on lead, and you would have this long rope, and the horse sometimes would run in a circle around you. It's also like to train maybe very young horses, and it is very common also if you have a horse that has a lot of energy, especially young horses. And I used to do that a lot with mine before get on the horse, because it can get really dangerous if you have a very energetic horse, especially if it's really young, that can't really, manage or contain their energies. Because yeah, as I said, sometimes young horses are really energetic and they need a lot of movement, so that thing is really helpful to move a little bit more the horse in case the proper horse ring is maybe occupied by someone. Maybe someone is using it and you can't really, let the horse running free while someone is, maybe jumping or even like just training. It's really dangerous. So yeah, I decided to have that also because I had a little bit of an empty space over there. And then in the back, we have some paddocks, which are for the horses that are in the stables to maybe move a little bit their legs and spend some time outside when it's sunny. Realistically speaking, you should have many more paddocks than that, and they should be a little bit bigger, I think. I think those are too small. And sometimes you would have horses that are in the stables, which have their own paddock, and then you would have also horses which sleep outside. They don't have like a place inside the stable, and they have their little house made of wood and they sleep in there. So it really depends. Also, it depends how much you pay, because this is how it works where I go. If you pay more, obviously your horse can stay inside the stable, and maybe during the day, if it's sunny, they go outside. But if you pay less, your horse is going to stay always outside in the paddock. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the stables inside are more expensive, but yeah, anyway, where the rounded horse ring is, there's also the back of the barn, and I don't know if you could notice that, but there's a staircase that leads up to the apartment of the person who runs this place, or maybe could be the apartment of the stable guy. I was also working on the covered patio on the same side. I decided to have another covered patio, covered area, so I could have the grill there and a long dining table with a lot of seats, because I was thinking that at the horse center where I go horse riding, members sometimes grill something and eat all together, maybe especially in summer when it's hot outside, or after a competition, we would buy meat and grill it on the grill and eat it. Most of the time, we would have benches and not a proper table, but that's what I was thinking, and I thought that the Sims could do the same maybe. Also, as I said, the grill is a requirement for this lot type, so yeah, it was perfect there for me. I also placed down the menu from Dine Out because I don't know, it looked good, and I had that empty wall. I didn't need a window there, so yeah, I placed down that menu. Anyway, as you could see, I was working on the kid playground before, and instead of placing down the boring monkey bar, which I tend to always use, I decided to place down the big pirate ship, which is an item that I never use, maybe because it's really big and most of the time doesn't fit in the backyard. And I also had a lot of space there, so I thought that I wanted something big to fill that space up, so I used that. And I also placed down a table which is from the little campers kit and a couple of matching chairs. You didn't see me doing that back portion of that side of the lot because I cut the part out, but basically there isn't anything too special going on over there. There's the table slash bench with the umbrella from Cats and Dogs, I think, and I placed down two of them. And then I placed down other really random items that I couldn't fit in the garages. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this because honestly, this voiceover is so long and it's all over the place that I don't even remember what I said like 20 minutes ago. But you could see that in the beginning of the video, I placed down 3 doors from the Snowy Escape expansion pack. And if you have watched my previous videos, you'll know that for me, those are garage doors. And I placed down 3 of them on one side of the barn. 2 of the doors are actually garage doors, but one is basically closed off and it's turned into a bathroom. Don't worry, you won't have a garage door in the bathroom. I drew a wall so this won't happen because obviously it isn't really normal to have a garage door or such a big door, sliding door in a bathroom. But yeah, I already had 3 garages and I didn't want like a third one, so I thought that in there I could have maybe a bathroom. Obviously, I cut those parts out of the video, that footage, because I thought it wasn't really interesting to watch. Anyway, as you can see, I now moved on onto the inside of the building, and I'm talking about the main building, the one that's in the middle of the lot where the stables are. And also in the same building we have the tuck room and the changing room. And as you first walk into this building, on the right hand side there's a little entryway where the staircase is. You could probably saw me furnishing that space before, but yeah, over there there's a staircase and a dining table from the Horse Ranch expansion pack and some chairs. I decided to have a table over there just because I didn't know what else to do, but also to make it a little bit more homey and welcoming. And also there's an ottoman from the Horse Ranch expansion pack and some plants and a china cabinet also from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. And then on the opposite side of the entryway, there's the changing room. And yeah, then we have like a large hallway. I made the hallway of this place large on purpose because I thought that you need a lot of walking space for the horses. And yeah, we have this large hallway which leads to the main point, the main space of the building, which is where the stables are. Now, this place can sleep up to 8 horses because there are 8 horse beds, 3 on one side and 5 on the other side. Obviously, I used the fence and the gate from the Horse Ranch expansion pack to make the beds. And right now I'm furnishing one of the hallway which leads to the horse beds, and it's the hallway that's on the same side as the tuck room. And I decided to place down this decal from the Horse Ranch expansion pack above the tuck room door because I was thinking that maybe that could be the sign that says tuck room, you know. So I thought that was something cute. Anyway, as you can see, I'm now furnishing the hallway, which is in the back of the building. And I didn't really know what to do there because I was struggling and I was running out of items like horse stuff to place down. So I had to use a little bit my imagination, and I decided to place down a bucket from Seasons. And I imagined that that bucket could be the bucket into which you put your horse poop, because that little hallway is basically where maybe you can also prepare your horse, you can groom your horse, because there's a lot of space. And normally in real life you would have something like that. You would have space to groom your horse where the stables are as well. So I decided to place down also the drain thingy from the get together, I think, to sort of emulate the fact that that space over there is also the space where you can, you know, maybe wash your horse legs or, you know, give your horse a bath or something like that. So I decided to place that down. I'm gonna place those drains also in the other building in the barn where I imagined the real horse washing station is. But yeah, I also had that empty hallway, so I decided to do that over there as well. And yeah, basically also next to the Seasons bucket, I placed down some fur, which I imagine to be maybe the horse fur, and someone was maybe shaving their horse, because normally in winter you are supposed to shave your horse because if they sweat a lot after a workout, after the lesson, the training lesson, I don't know, but if they sweat a lot and they have like a really long fur, they might get sick because the fur doesn't dry, and they might get sick. So normally you shave the horse in winter, and on the horse you put a blanket which is, you know, made for horses. And yeah, it's really important to shave your horse if you train the horse every single day because you don't want your horse to get sick, especially because horses are very sensitive in some parts, especially where the kidneys are. If they sweat a lot over there and they don't dry fast, they might get sick. So yeah, you really need to be careful. So I was thinking that maybe someone was shaving their horse, so there's still some horse hair left, next to the bucket. Maybe they didn't pick all the hair up, they left some outside. And yeah, moving on, as you can see, I'm now furnishing the duck room. But before moving on, I kind of wanted to mention what I did where the horse beds are. Over there, I decided to not have too much going on because obviously you need a lot of walking space if a horse need to walk there. But in front of the horse beds, I decided to have some hay just because maybe I thought that that could be the amount of hay that the horse is supposed to eat every single day. So they have that ready in front of each gate. And I also placed down some ribbons on each gate because I thought, I don't know, I wanted to have something over there. It looked a little bit too empty, so I was like, what else can I put? And I decided to have some ribbons because maybe that specific horse won some competitions, so they were really proud of it, and they placed the ribbon on their gate. And also, I placed down this thingy from the base game, which looks like, I don't know, I normally place it down in kitchens, but I placed it down because I thought that that could be where the horse diet is written on. So instead of like saying it to the stable guy, you write the horse diet down, and it's written on their gate, on where they sleep, so everyone knows what the horse is supposed to be. Because depending on the discipline, depending on the training that the horse normally does, they have a different diet. That's why you might want to mention that to the person who gives the horse the food. But in case they might forgot about that, you want to have that written in front of your horse bed. So that's what I was thinking. That's why I placed down that thingy. And then I also placed down the certificate from the university expansion pack, but I imagined that that could be where the horse name is written. Obviously, you want to have your horse name written on something, and you're not gonna write it on the wood, right, of the gate. So I thought that maybe there's this certificate which says, states the name of the horse, and it might state also something else, maybe if they're for sale, I don't know. Every single information that you want to know about the horse that sleeps there. Anyway, back to the tuck room. In the tuck room, I placed down the counters from the Horse Ranch expansion pack, as well as the cabinets and a sink, because I was thinking that maybe in those counters they keep some horse stuff, the medicine, the products, everything for the care of the horse, and also a sink because, oh my gosh, my voice, I'm losing my voice. And yeah, a sink because maybe your Sims want to wash their hands after they clean the horse, or they want to wash some horse stuff. And also there are 3 saddles. I decided to place down 3 saddles even though we have like 8 horses, so technically you should have 8 saddles, 1 for each owner, but I didn't have enough space. And also I placed down another saddle in the hallway, and another saddle I'm gonna place down in the barn. So I think that, 5 is enough probably. And in the tuck room, I also placed down a couple of armchairs from the cats and dogs, and a big storage box from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. And that's one of my favorite items for some reason because it's really realistic. I have something like that in the tuck room of my horse riding place, and I use it to keep my helmet, to keep some of my horse equipment, in there, So it's really realistic for me, and I really love that little touch of realism. And also I placed down the shelf from the Horse Ranch expansion pack, which has got like some brittles and a rope. I wanna like that shelf, but I feel like, I don't know, it's way too specific for maybe a sheriff office or something like that. I don't feel like really matches the vibes, because that's more for the sheriff, but that's okay. We unfortunately don't have anything else, and I really wanted to have, a shelf for the brittles. So I placed that down. And moving on, you could see that I was furnishing the changing room. In the changing room, I placed down the closets from the Horse Ranch expansion pack with the clothes. Yeah, I like the fact that they gave us clothes that look more cowboyish. Yeah, beside that, I also placed down some lockers from the Snowy Escape expansion pack, because I thought that in a community lot, especially like this one where you are gonna leave your personal stuff, you're not gonna ride a horse with, your phone. So I thought that maybe they want to keep their phone, their keys and everything in their wallet, in the lockers. So I placed some lockers down in the changing room, and that's pretty much it for that room. I don't think there's anything else. It's not really like something like too special, but I wanted to include the footage of the changing room in this video because I thought it was something different. Like normally I don't build changing rooms. As you can see, I now moved on onto the upstairs portion of the stable. Basically, upstairs, it's really weirdly laid out because there's like a hallway made with fence. It's open to below, and on the two opposite sides, there's on one side the lounge room, which I didn't include the footage of, and on the opposite side there's the office room, which I'm currently furnishing. But the rest is open, and I don't know if you could see, if you could notice, but I tried to make the upstairs as open as possible, but obviously I couldn't open everything, so I decided to have like a little balcony that your Sims can actually access, but it's not functional. And there, I placed down some hay and some boxes because I didn't know what else to place down, and I was looking at this picture on Pinterest of this ranch where they had this balcony which was looking down to the stables. On this balcony they had the hay, so I thought it was such a cute idea because I had so much space upstairs and I didn't know what else to do. So I thought I'm just gonna place down some hay and call it a day. So that's what I did on each side of the place. What I tried to do was to use a lot of spandrel and a lot of columns, a lot of wood as well to support, the balcony. I still have to play test that because I want to see if the horse touches the spandrel with their head. But yeah, moving on from that, as you could see, I was furnishing the office room, and I thought that was necessary to have an office room for this place where you keep all the documents of the horses, all the horses' passports. Place down some drawers from, I think, the Get to Work expansion pack. I'm not sure, I can't remember from which pack they're from. So I imagined that in there's the horse passports, and I also placed down a desk from the Horse Ranch expansion pack because, yeah, as I said, I used a lot of the furniture from that pack to match the vibe. And there are a couple of armchairs. I also placed down the side table from the Horse Ranch expansion pack, and on top of the table I wanted to have like a lot of trophies to make it seem as that was the office room of the teacher or of the person who runs this place, and this person is actually quite famous because they won a lot of competitions and they want to show all the trophies that they won. And I think that's pretty much it. And as I said, on the opposite side of the office we have the lounge room because I thought it was quite nice to have a space where your Sims can hang out all together and they can sit down and chat a little bit and watch the TV, because I placed down a TV. I placed down also a fireplace in there, and in the lounge room I also placed down the chess table because I didn't know where else. Maybe I could have placed down the chess table in the apartment upstairs. I could have placed that down in there, but I wanted the chess table to be accessible to every single sim. And maybe in gameplay, you might lock the door of the apartment because you don't want the other sims to, you know, go into the private apartment. And also in the lounge room, there's a coffee machine because I thought maybe after riding the horse, you might want to get a hot cup of coffee because it's cold outside, and that's really nice, I think. As you can see, I'm now furnishing the barn where the cleaning station is, and upstairs there's the apartment that I was talking about before. I'm not going to include the footage of me furnishing the second floor, but I always include screenshots of everything at the end of my videos. So if you're curious to see how that turned out, feel free to check the screenshots out. I took so many screenshots of this build just because I really love every single angle and I really like the way it turned out. So yeah, in the barn we have this big hallway for the horse to walk, and on one side I'm placing down a lot of random things, which could be maybe some horse stuff to clean the horse or to clean the horse equipment. I also placed down a storage unit from Eco Lifestyle on the other side, which looks like have some towels on it, and I was thinking they might be the horse protective pads that you use underneath the saddle, or maybe they could just be some towels to clean the horse. And the doors that I used in this room are to access the garage, like the two small doors are to access the garage, and the big one is from the horse ranch expansion pack and is for the bathroom. I know it's a big door for a bathroom door, but I had a lot of empty wall space and that door looked so good there, so I decided to use it. And then I placed down this log that has like a saddle placed on top, and under the saddle I placed down a bucket from the laundry stuff pack, which has some paper and some cleaning product in it, and I was thinking that maybe someone was polishing their saddle and left the product there. I also placed down a bucket with some carrots and apples next to it, and I was thinking that maybe someone was giving a treat to their horse after their ride. Now I'm decorating the cleaning station, which are actually 3, and I try to make them as realistic as possible. They're divided by a half wall, and I was thinking that maybe I could use again the bucket from Seasons to put the poop in it, because that's the poop bucket, as you might know already, and then there's a broom above the bucket to pick the poop up. And I was also trying to make it seem as if there's a draining system, because when you use the hose to clean your horse, the water has to go somewhere, right? So I used the drain thingy from Get Together. I was also trying to find something which could remind of the string to attach the horse to the cleaning station, but I couldn't find anything, so I just decided to leave it like that. Anyway, I'm now finishing this room off by adding some more little details, and that's pretty much it for today's video. If you would like to download this build of my gallery ID is in the description box below. I'm gonna go now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to leave me a like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope I'm gonna see you in my next speed build video. Bye!